Hello. We have made a lot of changes to our checklist course offering type, so I wanted to pull this video together to walk you through some of those changes and how to create the checklist course offering type applying those new changes. So you'll still create your checklist course offering the same way you always have by select Manage, Create Course Offering, and you want to give your checklist a title, and then scroll down to the course type and change it from WBT to checklist, just like you have in the past. Now, one of the new things we have added is the ability to add a passing score to a checklist. What this will do is allow the LMS to calculate the number of successfully completed tasks against the total number of tasks available. So in this case, I'm going to set the passing score to 100. That will mean that every task needs to be completed successfully. And another new feature we have is the ability to lock out a signature block so that only the employee can sign off on it. So I'm going to apply the require signature for completion for this checklist. Now that I have set my checklist course offering, it's time to create the checklist. We'll do this the same way we have in the past. We'll click the Create Checklist button to start adding task groups. And then when I add my task, you'll notice that the link to be able to add a hyperlink to an external resource is still available, but the new feature we've added is the Enable Likert Scale. What the Likert scale will do is it will provide a drop-down menu when the checklist is being completed that the administrator will be able to select from exceeds expectations, meets expectations, or does not meet expectations. Naturally, if you say exceeds or meets, then that task has been successfully passed. If it says does not meet, then that task has failed. You don't have to utilize the Likert scale, and you will still have the option to fail a task during completion. So I'm only going to apply 2 groups to this one, and I'm going to add a signature task group. And I'm going to title this first one Employee Signature, and then I'm going to add the task. Since I want the employee to sign here and nobody else, I'm going to select May only be completed by learner. I'm going to add another task group for manager and add that task. Now I'm going to leave this blank down here because I want the manager to be able to complete this. I'm going to enable pass-fail to allow the LMS to calculate the total number of successfully completed tasks versus those that were failed or did not meet expectations. And I'm also going to apply the group must be completed in order value. What this will do is, since we've set this field applicable for a learner to complete, this will prevent them from being able to launch their enrollment, go directly to that task, and sign off on it without all of the other tasks before it being completed. So now I'm going to save my checklist. And that's how you will apply the new features to a checklist when you're creating it. Now that we have created the checklist, now I'm going to show you how completing the checklist will work at both the learner's level as well as the supervisor's level. So first, I'm going to log in as the learner just to show you that since we have set the checklist up so that the learner can't do anything but add their signature, when a learner launches the checklist, as you can see, they will not be able to interact with anything because we said all the groups have to be done in order, and this is the only group that they can interact with. So now let me log out, and I will log back in as a checklist administrator and show you how to actually administer the checklist. I'll be right back. Okay, now we have logged back in as a checklist administrator. I've navigated to the employee's account that requires the checklist to be completed. I'll scroll down and find that enrollment, click View, and then View Checklist. Now I can administer the checklist. You'll see that there are different options here that weren't present before. We still have our comment feature and we still have our not applicable feature, but now we've applied a Likert scale as well as a failed option. So from the Likert scale, you can select exceeds, meets, or does not meet expectations. So with this one, I'm going to say does not meet expectations. And then I'm going to come down to this. Well, before I do that, I'm going to enter a note. Then I'm going to come down to this next one, and I will say exceeds and exceeds. Now with these, instead of using the Likert scale, I'm actually just going to mark this one as a failed using the failed icon. It does the same thing as selecting does not meet. It just, instead of using the Likert scale. And then this one, I'm going to say exceeds. And now you can see that even myself as a checklist administrator, I can't do anything with the employee signature field. So I'm going to log out, log back in as the employee, and sign off on this checklist. I'll be right back. Okay, now that I've signed back in as the employee, you'll see that the checklist enrollment is actually right at the top of their page. So I will click continue. The employee can see the tasks that have been completed and the scores, so to speak, that were associated to them. And now I can scroll down to my signature area and I can enter my signature and apply signature. And now that's all that the employee can do, is just apply their signature. So now I'm going to log back in as a checklist administrator and I will complete the rest of the checklist. Okay, now I've logged back in as the checklist administrator again and navigated to the employee's account. So I'm going to find their checklist enrollment, click View, and then View Checklist. And then I can scroll down. I see that they have applied their signature. So now I'm going to apply my signature. So since this has not been marked as complete, I can review the checklist and I might come back up here and say, okay, this task actually wasn't a fail, it was a meets expectations. So I can update that task. You can update any of these tasks prior to marking the checklist as complete. Once I mark this enrollment as completed, these tasks will no longer be able to be edited. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this as complete. And you will see that the checklist itself was set with a passing score. And because I missed one of the tasks, I failed at an 80%. But if I come back and click on the View Checklist, as I said, everything is locked from editing. So once a checklist has been completed, it is completed in full and can no longer be edited. So I hope this helps explain some more of the features of the checklist course offering. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we will walk you through it separately. Thank you.